وفي العز للعبد الذليل تبلغ بالقليل من القليل من القليل وهي السد للسفر الطويل
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على شمس الهداية واليقين حبيبنا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد: فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم صدق الله العظيم. Beloved viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, most certainly we have created man, the human being, in the best fashion, in the best mode. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created man as the best of all his creation. And as such, we have a goal to reach. And that goal is to prove that we are the best of all creation. By just lying down, taking it easy, being complacent, we cannot be able to prove this wonderful assertion by Allah Himself. But Alhamdulillah, there are many people who have proved to us beyond a shadow of doubt that they can exercise their will and the genius to better themselves and to better all those around them, and even better the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is around them. So, we are speaking about one such man who lived lately, born in about 1877 or earlier. The date of birth is not important. People, they belabor themselves on when he was born instead of worrying about how he lived. This is what is wrong with us. We try to work about the date of birth and so on and the exact date of birth. No, look at what he has done. And he was born of a family that had converted to Islam from Brahmanism, Hinduism, a few generations before. And he was born into the house of a tailor, Nur Muhammad by name, and he was given to reading and reciting the Quran. And one thing that his father told him, as Iqbal tells us, he says, "My father told me, oh my son, read the Quran as if it is being revealed to you now." So as far as Iqbal is concerned, the Quran is a living book, and it concerns himself and everyone that reads the Quran to understand it and to act upon it. The instructions of the Quran are supposed to be acted upon. So this young Iqbal started getting educated. And whilst he was doing well in his primary and secondary studies, he came across Sir Thomas Arnold, who could foresee a great person in Iqbal. He could see his genius and saw to it that he became better and better educated. Iqbal went to England. It was a different world from the place in Sialkot, a little town in Punjab. And being in Lahore, he saw that England was something else. And of course, the English were the rulers of India. Their ways, their mannerisms, their industry, their discoveries all were different. And he was affected by it. But he found all this, when they did it with the right intention and the right motive, he found all this in consonance with the Holy Quran. Allama Iqbal went to England and then came back, and he was in the Lahore University, Government College, teaching philosophy. But his poetic art began to show. And in top gatherings of Mushaira, he shone above everyone, even seasoned poets, and people went crazy for what he had to say. But he wanted his poem to change the Muslims, to change their mindset, to get them out of lethargy and laziness and being dormant and being doormats. So he wrote poetry with his heart, and you could see people during his lifetime, the manner in which he wrote poetry and the manner in which these poems were published already. It was, and the manner in which people started speaking and writing about him. When you read it, and I have read a book that was written in 1934, I remember, 4 years before his departure from this earthly sojourn, that it seemed that as if you are writing about a man that is already gone. In his lifetime, he became so famous and acknowledged by everybody for his greatness. And of course, if we are really serious about Islam, we will look at this man who went to the West and who drank deep of the philosophies of the West and of the modern philosophers of the West. Nietzsche, he knew Lenin, and he read Marx. He knew all of them, and he placed them next to the Quran and next to Islam, and he saw the superiority of Islam and the superiority of the Quran, and therefore he began writing on the Holy Quran, because he believed in the Holy Quran, and he knows that the Quran surpasses everything. And he quotes Gita in his reconstruction, where he says after Gita read the Holy Quran, Gita began to tell his friend Akaman, you see this book? It goes higher and higher and higher, and nothing takes you higher than that. There it is, a German philosopher. When he read the Quran, he found that it takes you higher. But unfortunately, he found that the Muslim has become one that has forsaken the Quran. The Muslim has become one who tries to find excuses in the Quran to be lazy and to be lethargic and to be laid back. So he says, "Khabar nahi kya hai naam iska, khuda farebi ya khud farebi, amal se farig hua musalman bana ke taqdeer ka bahana." What must I call him? Are you trying to bluff Allah? Are you trying to deceive Allah or deceive yourself, O Muslim? You have departed from the field of action. And what do you say? He says, Taqdeer will take care of itself. No. You are bluffing yourself, Iqbal says, because he wrote, as he said, in his reconstruction of religious thought in Islam, the Quran is a book which emphasizes deed rather than idea. What we like is mental gymnastics, fighting over the Quran. What it is the Quran created, or was it there all the time? Instead of looking into the Quran and seeing what it has to tell us, it is a complete guidance for everyone. And unless and until we do not take the Quran to be our guide in our everyday living, then we will not be able to make a mark on this earth, a mark for ourselves, for our community, for Islam, and a mark for the sake of Allah and His Rasul. And this is the lament of Iqbal throughout. He wants the Muslim to get up and go. He tells us that our forefathers achieved this, that and the other. But then he tells us, wo the aaba tumhare, magar tum kya ho? वो थे आबा तुम्हारे मगर तुम क्या हो, हाथ पर हाथ धरे मुंतजरे फरदा हो. Those were your forefathers. But what are you? You are all laid back, sitting down at rest, and you have got your arms folded, waiting for tomorrow to come and bring its own destiny for you. No, you are a maker of your own destiny. Gar tu Muslim hai to tadbir hai taqdeer teri. If you are a Muslim, then your hard work, your application, and your industriousness is your taqdeer. That is your fate. That is your destiny. Work. The work is your destiny. Not being laid back and waiting for tomorrow. And that is why he tells the Muslim that it's about time he arose. He must not think about your forefathers and what they have achieved, because he says that they were flowing waters, clean flowing waters. He says, to guftar, wo kirdar, to sabit wa sayyara. You are a chatterbox. You are full of words and full of ideas, no action. But they were kirdar. They were an embodiment of action and deeds. To sabit, you are stagnant, like stagnant water-breeding mosquitoes. Wo sayyara, and they were clean, flowing rivulets and springs, always pure and always productive. So that is why he wants the Muslim, he must get up, he must arise, because the entire world is awaiting for his leadership according to the Quran and the life of Muhammadur Rasulullah. Sabak phir par sadaqat ka, adalat ka, shujaat ka, कि लिया जाएगा तुझसे काम दुनिया की इमामत का. वसल्लल्लाहु अला नबील करीम वस्सलामु अलैकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू.
وفي العز للعبد الذليل تبلغ بالقليل من القليل بالقليل من القليل وعز للسفر الطويل وعز للسفر الطويل وفي عصيانه عار ونار وفي عصيانه عار ونار وفيه البعد مع خزي وبيل